I am Great Mother, Holy Spirit, Yin, Divine Mother, Cosmic Womb, Deep Space, the Moon, Dark Matter, the Void, the Black Hole, Hathor, Isis, Diana. Hello, this is Tammy Taylor, your Manifestation Muse, welcoming you to your Aquarius New Moon reading. This is all planets go time. Important time for you, important time for me. The planets have been retrograde for most of 2018, and now finally there's a thrust toward what we are seeding this year for 2020. Now, before we get into all of that, the reason why the Aquarius new moon is so important all the time, even when planets are retrograde, but now we have all direct, so it's even that much more important, right? Aquarius new moon is all about sharing what we came into the world to share with it. It is such a huge energy that supports our purpose for incarnation. It, in fact, really does buoy our dharma, our energy that connects us to others, that gifting that we have through that energy of Aquarius. Now, of course, here we talk about the Western moon signs as they relate to our emotions, our ego, the solar energy, the earth-centric astrology of the tropical Western perspective. And that is the aspect of ourselves that is reactionary. It's our conscious thoughts for the most part for those of us who are in tune with Great Mother Speaks, but for other people it may be a very, very unconscious process. Here, when we talk about unconscious process, we're using the Vedic astrology, the lunar astrology. It is moon centric, it is cosmologically oriented, and it is the soul astrology. The Vedic astrology is karmic. It is based on what the soul purpose is. It is not limited to North Node, South Node, or 12th house. It is the entire chart laying out what the soul came here to do and how it came here to do it. Now, of course, both birth charts are defaults. We do have the power, because we're spiritual beings, of free will choice. Once our conscious awareness of who we are is activated, and here we know that we are first and foremost dearly loved divine children of the Great Mother, Father God. That's who we are, who are never judged, condemned, or left alone. We're never judged or condemned. There are consequences for our actions. That is karma. And we're never left alone. Our angels, guides, and ancestors are always with us, guiding us, protecting us, helping us to stay in alignment with that dharma, helping us to work out that karma in loving, joyful ways as much as we can stand, as much as we can receive. And so we are here to receive our divine identity. As this channel is designed, it has come forth through the inspiration of Great Mother to speak directly to her children most alienated and estranged from her unconditional love due to our birth mother experience. And my area of life coaching is the specialization of what I coined mama drama trauma. It is a condition in which the mother projects unhealed aspects of herself onto her child, causing emotional and or physical trauma. Now, in cases where the mother is unable, unwilling, or unavailable to heal her own mama drama trauma, because it is a cycle, it is a pathology, it is a family cycle. She is unable to break it, unwilling, or
unavailable. She may have transitioned into another life, she may just not be available for other reasons, addictions, all of these other symptoms of mama drama trauma associated with this dis-ease. It's a planetary disorder. And when we do not have that bond to support our own healing through her or through other maternal figures, we learn to live in loving detachment. Now, that's a difficult thing to do, and it is something that is only achieved, to my knowledge, by going through the dark night of the soul, which is why Dorothy is our narrator, our narration, our narrative that we use here to illustrate what that dark night of the soul journey is along that yellow brick road and ultimately through the dark forest, which leads her back home by reclaiming her power, taking that broom, that phallic symbol back that Great Father, symbolized by Oz, told her she would have to do for herself. Now, the three, the scarecrow, the lion, and the tin man, those in our family, those in our lives, in our environment, our neighbors, our friends, our co-workers, in our world are but reflections of us, aren't they, along our yellow brick road? And Aquarius invites us to look very closely at who our mirrors are in our lives at this time, to give us the downloads that we need in order to clearly move forward along our road, along our life's purpose, so that we can share what we have to give, as Dorothy did with the three. Even in her weakness, she was able to share, even if it was just her journey, because it was something that would add something unto them. They all needed help. And don't we on the planet? We all need help. A huge issue that is coming to the fore universally right now is the environment. And the environment is a variant energy of Great Mother Gaia. A healthy planet, though, necessitates a healthy inner world, which is why Great Mother energy is coming forward so powerfully at this time with Cancer in the North Node. At this time of this reading, Cancer is where Rahu is in the Vedic astrology as well. Vedic astrology precedes Western astrology by 26 degrees. And so this is a very fortuitous time for connecting with that inner love, that inner wisdom. Because in the Vedic astrology in April, end of March, April, the energy will be shifting into North Node Gemini, South Node Sagittarius, and we will continue on with it for the duration of this nodal transit. So, if a healthy planet necessitates a healthy inner world, then a healthy perception of the world outer, the Aquarian energy that's coming forth, ruled by Uranus in the Western, the innovation, the creativity, it's beyond creativity, it's inventiveness. It's that spark of eureka that comes from the soul. If that is to be fully healthy and integrated, our inner world, what that energy is, that Capricorn energy is, beside it is also important. Sidereal soul sign. And right now, that Capricorn energy is hosting the South Node, or Ketu at this time, the release position of this nodal transit. It's time to let go. And hasn't Great Mother set us up for this huge let go at this time with the eclipses that have marked both of our new moon readings since the beginning of this year, with a partial solar eclipse for the new moon reading in January and the full moon reading a total lunar eclipse. So are you ready for your Aquarius new moon reading? Capricorn in the sidereal. I hope you are. because these eclipses have set us up for the innovation that we're ready for, that we need at this particular time. Remember, full moon readings that you just had were and are about the climax of the lunar cycle. So the lunar cycle has already climaxed with that total lunar eclipse. We have now come down decrescendo to this balsamic new moon period where the downloads have come from your Vedic moon sign, and you have a sense of how to realign, reassess your new moon intentions moving forward, and to ask from your ego mind, your emotional mind, to align with it through these new moon wishes, your aspirations going forward. So enjoy your readings. Aquarius, new moon people, this is an exciting time for you. Every year, emotionally, you feel a beginning. Some of you, this may occur within this lunar cycle, actually beginning at this time and going until the next new moon, because it does depend on what phase of the moon that you were born. Um, but most of you, it'll be within this 24-hour period. And so it's powerful with all of these planets direct. I don't get a sense there's a lot for you to release. I feel that you are very grounded. In fact, because this new moon is in your first house and you've done so much release work with the um, energies that are really supporting you annually this time of year, you may have skipped the introduction or felt like, okay, let's just get to it, because you're not new to it. What is new for you and for all of us, however, is that we have Uranus, your ruling planet, in Aries, and it is really active because it's conjunct Mars. So you are really amped up for real this year. It's in the critical degrees too, 29, 30 degrees here, this lunar cycle. And so it's about to move into Taurus. But now, if we're talking about seeding new moon wishes, you are ready. You're like, okay, great mother, what's my confirmation? I'm ready to go. I already know. So what I see here is that your inner work is having to do with the pleasure principle. What brings you joy? Following your bliss, following those downloads you've already received about who and where you are at this time of your life. This time, this year, 2019, it's about using those innovative, constructively technical aspects of your inner self that is really able to do the kind of divination work that enables you to read signs and symbols. For example, you can read signs and symbols out of anything and create the technology to support it with the proper ego soul alignment. That's the kind of inner work that you're capable of. This year, it's really about using that gifting to connect with others through your teaching or learning from others by really getting in touch with what resonates with other people, what really turns them on. And if you're learning and if you are being taught something, really getting in touch with what turns you on and following the seeds, the crumbs along that path for you. That's going to give you the insight into the future that you're really anxious for right now in following your bliss. This is a new moon second chakra card. This is about creativity. This is about bringing your ideas to life about how to connect and relate to others. What's bringing this up is this double yin second chakra card again. The Ankh is the second chakra. And so we have this third quarter moon energy, which is release. It's because you have released a lot of energy having to do with MDT denial. MDT denial can be the one thing that keeps us from ever addressing and therefore healing mama drama trauma in our lives. You've done a lot of work with that. And because of that inner wisdom that you have, that is so able to connect with the signs and symbols of Great Mother, even the shades and shadows of her moon and lunar phases. You've done this release work even with your triggers and being aware of your triggers. Now, these are moon sign readings. This may not be readily conscious to you, but on a soul level, being that most of you are Capricorn moon sign people, since the South Node has moved into Capricorn in the sidereal over the last year and a half, you've had a lot of eureka moments internally and intuitively. And now, with Jupiter in Scorpio in the 11th house of Capricorn and the sidereal in the 11th house of the Western in Sagittarius, um, of course, this is the house of Aquarius, and this connecting to people in really genuine ways being amped up because you've released those barriers to you being able to download the intuitive wisdom. That's the double yin symbol. The yin single yin is the receptive mode. You are in the receptive mode of getting the guidance and receiving the protection, the guardianship from your angels, guides, and ancestors. Double yin is taking that up a notch and saying, yeah, I receive that. I know I'm a divine child of Great Mother, Father, God. I don't take it for granted in the sense that, yeah, my angels are there. I can do whatever I want to with licentiousness, but they're there because of to protect me during the fulfillment of my dharma, of my soul purpose. And so let me amp it up with this double yin doctor energy and go for it and download with intention. And so there are times over this year and a half period, remember in the sidereal, Capricorn is still in the South Node until around March. You are still downloading this very powerfully with this Jupiter um that's really working with this energy in very, very powerful ways. There's um a real amplification of these downloads. That's what's bringing up, hey, it's time for me to really follow my bliss. It's time for me to bring this Dharma into the world, despite where I've come from with MDT. In the position of what's in your shadow, what you may not be aware of is this wild energy within you. Some of you, might be like, well, this is news to me. I didn't know that I was feeling all of this. Well, hey, on a soul level, you have this new moon throat chakra card, which is the sign when Dorothy and the three enter the dark forest, warning them to go back. I'd go back if I were you. The witch's castle is a mile away. And in your shadow position, what you don't see, in other words, or what you may not be able or willing or available in some conscious way to acknowledge, is this wild energy that's ready to go for it. Okay. And so, with that being in the shadow position, you may also, with the shadow of the darkness of the new moon going out into the darkness of the night, not clearly be assessing what your pleasure is at this time because you're so amped up. You're just feeling enthusiastic. You're just feeling kind of charged. And you're like, okay, I'll do this, I'll do this, I'll do that with that Mars energy. But there may not be the focus that you want. So Great Mother's coming through and she's saying, hey, in the position of what you want is Demeter. And what Demeter is saying is to accept whatever your feelings are telling you from that total lunar eclipse. This is a full moon card, a gut chakra card, which is ruled by Mars. Mars rules um, Mars rules Aries and Scorpio. So, although, we had a full moon in Leo, what's really shining through here is for you to trust your gut about what came through for you at that time. So I want to bring up the planets of Aries and Scorpio because if your sun or ascendant is in either of those signs, take a look at what Great Mother is saying for those signs. Because this is the card, if you're needing clarification about what you want, telling you to accept your feelings about what you want. This is when Dorothy is given the ruby red slippers. And she's very ambiguous about how she feels about this. Remember, the ruby red slippers with the Great Mother Speaks Oracle deck symbolize our birthright. And our birthright as divine children of the Great Mother, Father, God is to be happy, healthy, and whole. That's our birthright. There's no debate about that. Everyone has their own unique, their own cosmic calculus, okay, so to speak. Okay, our own chart, our own karma to deal with. Irregardless of that, we have a birthright to be happy, healthy, and whole within and transcending it. So we're ambiguous about that. But that's what you want. You want to accept your feelings about what that total lunar eclipse brought up for you. So 2 weeks ago was the total lunar eclipse in Leo in the Western, and the sidereal was in Cancer. That was Great Mother energy coming through very powerfully through that. And so take a look at that, because remember, Cancer is the North Node in the sidereal right now. And you've been working with that energy for a year and a half. You've been working with the energy that is very fourth house, very much the energy that we're going into emotionally with your Aquarius moon sign for the next year and a half about your mother. And we're talking about you having already released a great deal. I'm not saying all of the triggers. Okay, that's a lifelong deal. Loving detachment is lifelong. Okay, I work with people who are managing it. We call it managing it. We don't control it. There's all kinds of things that trigger us throughout our lives and that we have no idea about. You peel back one layer and then something else pops up. So it's ongoing. But you've done enough work to where you're downloading enough to have the energy and the space to move forward with this Aquarius energy in ways that you haven't before. And so Great Mother's really encouraging you to pay attention to what those downloads have been for you since the third quarter moon last lunar cycle, okay, where you were really getting the downloads before the new moon, January 1st, where the partial solar eclipse came up. This is so exciting for you because what's supporting you is Sophia, another new moon card. So Great Mother's coming through with your Aquarius new moon, new moon, new moon, new moon, new moon. You have 4 new moon cards here from the second gut, heart, throat chakra. This is the heart chakra. The heart chakra, the crossroads between the ego and the soul, is supporting you doing the inner work of pursuing your bliss. Now, remember, the Hattar pleasure principle card does ask us the question, are we running away in fear or are we following our bliss? And of course, I just usurp the following the bliss because of all of this momentous energy around you. But since this is a general reading, for those of you who may be recoiling in this ambivalence of really how you feel about your birthright to be happy, healthy, and whole, those who are running away in fear as opposed to living in loving detachment so that you can follow your bliss, Great Mother's letting you know that your inner wisdom too is sufficient to guide you through the maze of the inner work that's necessary to land you right in the center of your pleasurable desires in life, because the status of your ego soul alignment is Durga, boundaries. This is gut chakra energy. You have a lot of gut chakra energy, this Mars Uranus conjunction. It's very powerful. We do not have Uranus expressed here because, of course, when we're talking about chakras, we're talking about Vedic astrology, the sidereal astrology. So, gut chakra, Mars, ancient ruler of Scorpio, and the ruler of Aries here, you again are being encouraged to perhaps look at that ascendant and that sun sign reading wherever you find those here would be an excellent complement because this is a new moon card. This new moon energy, seed planting time for you, Aquarius, and for so many of us in the Western Hemisphere during this season, having for you to do with recognizing that the status of your ego soul alignment, of your ego, your conscious emotional body mind lining up with that unconscious soul intuitive self is at the point of recognizing that boundaries are necessary in your life in order for you to live happily, healthfully, and wholly. That there needs to be a clear distinction within yourself about how you feel, accepting your feelings, the Demeter card, about what is and what is not okay with you and for you in your life at this time. So, again, those individuals that are in our immediate environment at home, at work, our neighbors, those mirrors, those individuals that reflect our emotional state, like the three did for Dorothy, the mind, the heart, okay, the actual courage to move forward. The threshold that's being crossed here with Dorothy going into Munchkin Land is before she actually has these individuals materialized. Okay, that clarity, that focus doesn't come into play until she goes through the initial phase of the yellow brick road. She doesn't even realize that she is entering a yellow brick road right now, but she is. She's leaving the farmhouse that is just dumped onto the ground onto Munchkin Land after the Twister dream, right? And she's right there at the very beginning of the yellow brick road. That's where you are, Aquarius moon sign people, Capricorn in the Vedic, most of you. That's where you are at the beginning of your inner journey dealing with Munchkin Land. Munchkin Land is a mirror that we see before it focuses in on the conscious yellow brick road. The Munchkin Land is the heart below chakras, the little people, people that just come up to your chest. But it's such an innocence when we're there, isn't it? The gut chakra, the second chakra, the root chakra. We're born into a tribe, the root chakra. We're raised with a certain religion, root chakra. We're around certain people, second chakra, that condition certain desires, second chakra. But there's a soul there that has its own ego will, third chakra, to manifest in the world. And the gut chakra is the suit of Munchkin Land. It's come up twice for you. Here, she's just crossing the threshold out of the Twister dream, which ends the second chakra suit. And accepting feelings again with Demeter, this gut chakra, it culminates from the new moon to the full moon to accepting her feelings. So at this point, you may not be fully accepting your feelings, but that's what you want on an emotional level. On a soul level, the soul wants to align with that. In order for you to really fulfill, materialize, manifest what you want in the world, it has to be expressed, communicated to people, that Baba Yaga new moon throat chakra card. It has to be clearly defined, those boundaries established and maintained, and repetitively with people. What's okay, what's not okay, what's okay, what's not okay. Okay, I know that when I go to the grocery store and I say these things are for my special diet, and I'd really appreciate it if you would just buy your own bread because I get this bread specifically for me. I know I don't eat it very often, but when I do, I want it to be there. And that's not being appreciated. Just as an example, It just really has to be said over and over and over and over and over again sometimes for people to really catch on that, okay, this she's serious about this. This is her diet. She's doing the best that she can, and she's asking me to help her out, and that kind of thing. It really is. It really, really is Munchkin land. And so that's where you are. That's where you are with your ego soul alignment. There's a need to, in other words, leave one way of being on the farm and cross the threshold into another, more aware, technicolor world. I know these cards are all black and white, but this is the first scene that is technicolor in the movie. And so at some point we'll have that on the cards. But yeah, your Durga card is your boundary card. That's the status of your ego soul alignment. Now, why does your soul want to do this work? Why does your soul want to do this work? It wants to do this work. Mayat is coming up just as to say that, hey, okay, I've been on this journey, and yes, there are parts of it that have been really disappointing. I mean, Dark Night sucks. That's why, it's really taboo to even talk about it. It really, really sucks. And third eye, first quarter moon energy says that, yeah, but you have been through it and you have learned a lot from it. As a result of that, first quarter comes after the new moon. You now have that free will choice. See, we don't have free will choice until we've been through it. Up to Munchkin Land and Yellow Brick Road, we're just kind of operating on default. We're just kind of still in an infantile relationship with the world. Gimme, 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 I don't know. But once we've gone through our own healing journey, we know what it takes to survive. So we can take care of ourselves. But that doesn't mean that the journey was easy. That doesn't mean that we're coming out of it feeling like, hey, you ought to go through a dark night so you can learn how to survive. No. I mean, that's why it's so difficult for parents or for people who coach people or whatever. It's a step-by-step thing. And the reason why your soul wants to do this inner work of the pleasure principle is because it's done with all of that. And it is ready to move on. It has gained the wisdom, and it's ready to make conscious choices that will honor the challenges that it's up for now. It's not wanting to go back. This is your new moon, Aquarius moon sign people. This is first house. Venus is in your 12th house. The south node is in your 12th house. You're ready to let all that go. Yes, there are still feelings of isolation because you've been in isolation for so long. And it takes a while to shake off the loneliness, the depression, sometimes the boredness, the tiredness, and that sort of thing. But that's why you're so enthusiastic, because you're seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. This is your new moon. You're seeing that crescent coming through. And by the first quarter, that'll be coming through for you. In Aries, Taurus, it's going to really give you a charge. Really give you a charge. And the angels are right here assisting you to accept your feelings about what is, so that you can establish those boundaries, so that you can be in touch with those triggers, so that you can, if they turn into tailspins, reel yourself back in ways that you can be more humorous about them than you perhaps were in the past. You can be a little bit more engaged with those around you, realizing that they are, in fact, in your life for a reason. They're soulmates. They're reflecting aspects of you. And that ultimately the outcome, as we see here with Inanna, by embracing the shadow, that there are aspects of the Aquarian emotional nature that make you want to retreat naturally. But now, with this new lease on life, as you go forward, you're wanting to really tap into this crescent energy of Aries, Taurus, and through your new moon wishes, use the wisdom that you've gained here with the third eye that's saying, hey, I own all of me. I own my journey. I wouldn't take anything for it. The nakshatra that this Capricorn new moon is in the sidereal which is your moon sign in the sidereal, is Shravana. It's all about, traditional approaches to life that have to do with being a good teacher, being a good student, being a good counselor, you know, traveling and sharing what you know about yourself and the world along your travels. This may manifest physically. Speaking about great mother energy, internal travel is what we're talking about. The astral body actually being a much more effective mediator now that you are embracing your shadow really does allow those early life disappointments to be released under the power of this nakshatra and revised through the devised self confidence that you have as a result of acknowledging your journey and all that it has entailed. This is very, very beautiful energy. So much to look forward to, so much to look forward to, so much to be thankful for in this 2019 energy of I know. And Aquarius does know on such a deep, intuitive level when you choose to tap into it. So glad that you've chosen to do that with Great Mother Speaks reading today. Suggested new moon wishes for you do have to do with innovative and inventive solutions for any understanding that you need about how all of this works. Any understanding that you might need, a new moon wish might be, I want a brilliant, inventive solution to my lack of understanding of my soul and how to establish boundaries, would be another wish. I want a brilliant, inventive solution for establishing boundaries with my loved ones at home regarding the things that I want to be treated and respected in a certain way. Another one might have to do with this particular reading coming through. Obviously, your pleasure, following your bliss. I want to be totally open to a new, unconventional acceptance of who and what I am in order to express my true desires in the world. Those are some suggested new moon type wishes for you at this particular time as you embrace your pleasure and you work with your inner world in ways that serve you best moving forward in 2019. Thank you so much for watching, sharing, but above all, and most of all, remember Great Mother loves you, and I do too.
Deep space, the moon, dark matter, the void, the black hole, Hathor, Isis, Diana, Mami Ishtar, Kali, Mammy, and Mother Mary.